which is show interfaces. Okay, I can add brief, okay, or I can do it without briefly showing the interfaces. This is the first interface. This is the fast Ethernet interface. Let me point for you the place of the fast Ethernet interface. We have two fast Ethernet interfaces, 0, 1 and 0, 0. They are mentioned over here. Okay, so go ahead using more, using the space. Okay, now this is the second fast Ethernet port. Okay, and it indicates that it's down because we haven't configured them yet. Okay, so we'll go ahead and see the next interfaces. Now the second interface, it's serial 0, 0, 0. Okay, and we've seen the last time what this 0 indicates. 0 indicates the place, the slot of the interface, and the 1 indicates the number of the ports on that interface. Okay, so let's see what would be the second interface. The second interface must be 0, 0, 1. Okay, I guess we've missed that. Okay, this is the second interface. Okay, I can add more serial interfaces. Now you'll ask me, how do I configure that interface? First of all, I would like you to note the following. I'm going to configure this serial interface with an IP address and gonna enable it. So this interface is going to go from the mode of administratively down into an active mode, which is an up mode. Okay, but it's gonna remain in line protocol down since we don't have other station connected to the router. I'll explain this shortly. Okay, so our first task is to go to that global configuration mode in order to access the interface mode. Okay, so config, I'm using the tab, terminal. Okay, configure terminal, or instead of configure terminal I can simply write conf ter. Okay, so right now we are in the global configuration mode. Now what interface am I planning to configure? Let it be interface serial 0, 0, 0. So interface, okay, serial 0, 0, 0. Okay, now we are inside the global configuration mode for that interface, which we call it the global interface mode. Now the first step is to give that interface an IP address and subnet mask. Okay, so what IP address and subnet mask do I have to give? If you remember yesterday, we explained this process, and let me use my paint over here. Okay, let's say over here that I have, okay, let's see, I have router 1 and router 2. Okay, and over here not gonna work. Let's use this one. Okay, and this is a one connection, okay, between both routers. Now it's very important always to remember to configure an IP address which is similar, and subnet mask which is similar to the IP address and the subnet mask of the other point. They have to belong to the same family. They have to belong to the same subnet mask. For example, if you give the following interface, the following IP address 192.168.1.1, okay, Let me enlarge it just like this. Okay, let's maximize it. Okay, I can't give this point the following 192.168.2.1, okay, because it's from a different subnet mask. It belongs to different family of addresses. Okay, so what is this? Dot 192.168.1.2.1. Okay, how do I fix this? Simply by changing the following octet to the number 1, and of course by specifying to what subnet mask this one belongs. For example, this one will be 24 and this one should be 24 too. Okay, now what will happen if I put instead of this subnet mask 26? It's not gonna work. Even if they are, by the way, we've made a mistake over here. Instead of 1 we have to put 2, so over here should be 2. Okay, so yeah, 167, 168, yeah. Well, let me erase this. Okay, the first one should be 192.168.1.1, and the other one should be 192.168.1.2, and both of them, for example, they will have the following prefix, whether it's 24 or 27 or 28 or 30. Okay, but they should both have it. Okay, they should both have the same prefix links, which is the same subnet mask, which means, okay, over here should be like this. So I will go ahead and configure this point before adding one more point and adding one more router and interconnect them to each other. Okay, fine. So IP address, okay, 192.168.1.1, and with a subnet mask, let's say 255.255.255. It depends on our variable link subnet mask or the subnet mask. Let's take the following subnet mask, 252, for example. Okay, I hit enter. Now I have an IP address on that interface. I have configured that router with an IP address. Again, I would like to remind you, we can have many IP addresses on the same router. When we configure a router with an IP address, that IP address goes to one of the interfaces. Unless I'm configuring an IP address on that specific router for a management purpose. Management purpose like telnetting, accessing it remotely, and doing some activities like connecting to the TFTP server sometimes. Yes, Dr. Hussein. Okay. Yesterday in our lab we had 00 instead of 000. The first two zeros, okay, the first two zeros, they are indicators of the place where that card that has the one connection is placed on. This thing is gonna be explained in details later on, okay? But they indicate where do you have your slot, okay? For example, if I place my one, if I place it from over here, remove it and place it over here, this number would be 100. Now the last 0 indicates the interface on that one. Do you see this one? Do you see this interface? Let me annotate it. This interface is interface number 1 and this interface is interface number 2. If we will configure the second one, we would use over here 001. But if we choose to use this slot instead of this slot, enable okay, end or exit,